Ever wonder which One Piece character has the longest prison sentence? No? Just me? I spent the last week diving into every Donquixote Doflamingo atrocity, from his fall from celestial grace to his downfall as a king. And let me tell ya, this pink-feathered psychopath is going to jail faster than you could say heavenly demon. Stick around, because I'm ranking his crimes from simple patricide to offenses so massive they make Caesar Clown look like a Boy Scout. Let's kick things off with Dofi's origin story, because it's absolutely insane. He was born a god, a celestial dragon, living on Mary Joie. But at age 8, his dad decided to cosplay as a normal person, renouncing their status. In the middle of this hell, Dofi's mom dies. 2 years later, at the ripe age of 10, Doflamingo gets a pistol, murders his father in cold blood, beheads him, and carries the head back to Mary Joie's, thinking it's his re-entry ticket to paradise. The celestial dragons, horrified, cast him out forever. This wasn't just a tragic backstory, it was the creation of a monster.
You have a very foolish father. I'm sorry.
Crime tally, patricide, 100 years. Desecration of a corpse, 60 years. Attempting to bribe gods with a severed head, 100 years. Origin story total, 260 years. So what does our freshly rejected 10-year-old do? He doesn't run, he runs with their deepest, darkest secret. He escapes with knowledge of Mary Joie's national treasure. A secret so massive it could shake the world. He spends the next 2 decades building his power until he can walk up to the world government itself and say, "Make me a warlord of the sea or I'll tell everyone your secret." And it worked. He was granted diplomatic immunity, the power of a king, and a license to operate, all built on a foundation of pure blackmail against the highest powers in the world.
マリージョアから落ちた元天竜人のお前になぜまだ権力がある
そんなこと死ぬのに知りてえのか。それは俺が聖地マリージョア内部にある重大な国宝のことを知っているからだ。
マリージョアに国宝。
ああ、それは存在自体が世界を揺るがす。
Crime tally, blackmail against a global superpower, 10,000 years. Extortion, 2,000 years. Conspiracy to obstruct justice, 5,000 years. Blackmail total, 17,000 years. With his warlord status as the perfect cover, Doflamingo became the undisputed king of the underworld, Joker. His business portfolio was a checklist of evil. He ran the human auctioning house in Sabaody, a central hub for the global slave trade. He systematically infiltrated the Marines by placing his subordinate, Virgo, as a deep undercover agent who rose to the rank of vice admiral, corrupting the organization from the inside for 15 years. And on top of all of that, he became one of the biggest arms dealers on the planet, perpetuating wars across the globe. The most twisted part? The world government was one of his secret clients. This man was profiting from the very chaos the Marines were trying to stop. Crime tally, operating a slave trade, 15,000 years. Systematic infiltration and corruption of a government body, 8,000 years. International arms trafficking, 20,000 years. Profiteering from war, 10,000 years. Underworld kingpin total, 53,000 years. Doflamingo's evil wasn't just limited to his own actions. He was a patron of pure scientific chaos. He sponsored the disgraced scientist Caesar Clown, setting him up in a lab on the abandoned island of Punk Hazard. It was under Dofi's protection that Caesar developed chemical weapons, leading to a catastrophic explosion that rendered the entire island a toxic, uninhabitable wasteland. Half inferno, half frozen hellscape. That's not just an accident, that's the crime of ecocide. Furthermore, Doflamingo stationed his own agent, Monet, on the island, with the secret mission to blow up the entire facility if things went wrong. A conspiracy to commit mass murder against pirates, marines, and children alike. Crime tally, ecocide, 5,000 years. Conspiracy to commit mass murder, 2,000 years. Harboring an international criminal, Caesar, 1,000 years. Punk Hazard total, 8,000 years. But Dofi's true masterpiece of misery was the Smile operation. This was a supply chain of pure despair. He had Caesar cook up the chemical sad, then he enslaved the entire Tontata tribe of dwarves in Dressrosa, forcing them to cultivate artificial devil fruits from the sad in a secret underground factory. And get this, only 10% of the smile fruits actually worked. The other 90% were failures that permanently robbed the user of their ability to express any emotion except joy, forcing them to laugh for the rest of their lives no matter what horrors they endured. He sold this misery exclusively to the Emperor Kaido, single-handedly building his army. The product is literally called Smile, and its main ingredient is sad. The evil is baked right into the name. Crime tally, mass enslavement, 15,000 years. Unlawful human experimentation, 10,000 years. Conspiracy to enable a genocidal emperor, 40,000 years. Operating on an international criminal syndicate, 15,000 years. Smile operation total, 80,000 years. Alright, let's take a breath. We're not even halfway through the list, and Doflamingo has already racked up over 150,000 years in prison, just from his business dealings and side projects. If you think that's as bad as it gets, you have no idea. The crimes he committed personally as the king of his own country are coming up next, and they're somehow even more intimate and twisted. 10 years ago, Doflamingo set his sights on his ancestral home, Dressrosa. But he didn't just conquer it. He orchestrated the most psychologically devastating coup imaginable. He used his parasite strings to secretly control the beloved King Riku and his army, forcing them to slaughter their own innocent civilians. As the kingdom collapsed in chaos, Doflamingo swooped in as the savior and was handed the throne. He didn't just steal a kingdom, he made the kingdom beg him to steal it, destroying an 800-year legacy of peace in a single night. Crime tally, usurping a sovereign nation, 5,000 years. Mass psychological manipulation, 2,000 years. Pillaging, extorting 10 billion berries, 500 years. Dressrosa coup total, 7,500 years. Once he was king, what's the first thing he does for public entertainment? He reopens the Corrida Coliseum as a brutal death tournament. This wasn't professional sport, it was a gladiator pit where prisoners and powerful warriors were forced to fight to the death for a chance to win a single devil fruit. As the king and operator of this venue, every death, every injury, every drop of blood spilled for the amusement of the crowd was on his hands. Crime tally, operating an illegal death tournament, 3,000 years. Conspiracy to commit assault and murder, 2,000 years. Coliseum total, 5,000 years. Here's where it gets truly diabolical. To control the population, Dofi had his subordinate Sugar turn anyone who opposed him into a living toy. And the instant you become a toy, everyone who ever knew you forgets you ever existed. Wives forgot husbands, parents forgot their children, thousands of people were enslaved as conscious toys, fully aware they had been erased. But his cruelty to the royal family didn't stop there. He personally ordered the assassination of Queen Scarlet, and for her daughter, Princess Viola, he reserved a special hell. He forced her into his crew, and for a decade under the threat that if she didn't serve him, her captured father, King Riku, would be killed. That's a decade of psychological torture and forced servitude. Crime tally, the living toy nightmare, mass enslavement and psychological torture, 50,000 years. Systematic erasure of human existence, 25,000 years. Conspiracy to commit murder, 100 years. Forced servitude through coercion, Viola's case, 500 years. Living toy nightmare total, 75,666 years. We just rocketed past 250,000 years, and we reached a level of evil that is almost incomprehensible. The kingdom of Dressrosa is in ruins, its people enslaved in body and memory. But when a cornered animal like Doflamingo is about to lose everything, he gets even more vicious. What I'm about to show you next are the ultimate acts of a falling king. The cold-blooded murder of his own blood and a final, desperate temper tantrum designed to kill every last person on the island. You'd think murdering one family member was enough, but no! Dofi had a younger brother, Rosinante, who was secretly a good guy working for the Marines. And Rosinante helps a young, dying Trafalgar Law escape with the Ope no Mi, a fruit Doflamingo coveted. Doflamingo finds him. Does he show mercy to his own blood? The one who suffered the same childhood trauma? Nope, he shoots him dead in the snow without a second thought. Crime tally total, fratricide, 157 years. When his decade of lies finally came crashing down, did Dofi surrender? Of course not. He unleashed his ultimate temper tantrum, the Birdcage, a massive inescapable dome of razor-sharp strings designed to shred every man, woman, and child on the island to cover his tracks. Then he started a game, putting bounties on his enemies and forcing the trapped, terrified citizens to hunt each other for his amusement. This wasn't a tactic. This was a scorched earth policy born from pure narcissistic rage. Crime tally: attempted mass extermination, 50,000 years. Terrorism, 10,000 years. Taking of hostages, the entire island, 5,000 years. Inciting a death game, 5,000 years. The Birdcage total, 70,000 years. Now let's talk about Doflamingo's crimes against basic decency. First, that laugh. It's the sound of pure arrogance, and subjecting people to it should be a crime. Then there's the fashion. A giant pink feather coat. He looks like a flamingo that mugged a pimp. And his walk, that ridiculous bow-legged swagger, is a crime against physics. It's the walk of a man who believes the planet rearranges itself for him. Plus his god complex is so massive it needs its own poneglyph. He literally sees everyone as a puppet for his amusement. Crime tally: arrogant laugh, 1,500 years. Crimes against fashion, 2,042 years. Criminal swagger, 5,000 years. Narcissism on a cosmic scale, 10,000 years. Dignity crimes total, 18,542 years. Alright, let's add up this pink-feathered disaster of a human being. Origin story crimes, 260 years. Blackmail crimes, 17,000 years. Underworld kingpin crimes, 53,000 years. Punk hazard crimes, 8,000 years. Smile operations, 80,000 years. Dressrosa coup crimes, 7,500 years. Coliseum crimes, 5,000 years. Living toy nightmare crimes, 75,666 years. Fratricide, 157 years. The Birdcage crimes, 70,000 years. Dignity crimes, 18,542 years. Grand total, 335,125 years in prison. That's right, folks. Donquixote Doflamingo has earned himself 335,000 years behind bars. At this point, they don't send him to impel down. They need to build a new level, 7, 8, or even a level 9 hell just for him. The funniest part? Knowing Doflamingo, he'd probably spend his entire sentence using his strings to turn the guards and the warden into his personal marionettes, to reenact his glory days. This man is so fundamentally broken that an eternity in prison probably just sounds like a challenge. So what do you think? Did I miss any of Dofi's crimes? Should his fashion choices alone add another 10,000 years? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed watching me calculate how this fallen god earned more prison time than most pirate fleets combined, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more One Piece criminal analysis. And remember, if you ever see a 7-foot-tall man in a pink feather coat and sunglasses walking like he owns the planet, he probably does, so just run. Trust me on this one.